Jared Brudig for Ghost Volta here. I was given the opportunity to interview Kevin Bachus, the Senior Vice President of Entertainment and Game Strategy for Dave & Buster's, as well as the co-creator of the original Xbox console. I had a great time talking with Kevin about the evolution of gaming, the evolution of mobile gaming, and the evolution of the arcade, as well as arcade games. We talked about multiple different things in terms of free-to-play games, what types of games are at Dave & Buster's, his career, his early experiences, as well as his opinions as the co-creator, one of the co-creators of the Xbox console, in his opinions on the Xbox 360 as well as the Xbox One. And here is that interview for you guys.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jared here, bringing you an interview with Kevin Bachus, the Senior Vice President of Entertainment and Game Strategy for Dave & Buster's and the co-creator of the Xbox console. Before we start, Kevin, could you describe what you do at Dave & Buster's as Senior VP of Entertainment and Game Strategy?
Well, basically, I'm in charge of all the games. I'm responsible for managing a team of some really fantastic and talented individuals who comb the planet to find the best kinds of games that we can bring into our locations, and try to figure out what kinds of things we can do in terms of a potential mobile strategy or a potential online strategy, anything to do with the games, aside from the actual operation and maintenance of the games, which is handled by our amusement managers in each of our locations, who also do just an unbelievable job of maintaining some fairly temperamental and cranky pieces of large furniture that we have in each of those stores.
And for those of our listeners who don't know, would you mind explaining what Dave & Buster's is?
So Dave & Buster's is a chain of restaurants and arcades in one. Basically, if you think about it, it's a place where you can hang out and play games and potentially win prizes, have a great meal and something to drink, and it's kind of it's been described by some people as Chuck E. Cheese for adults, and that's not too far off. It's a place where you can go and you can play games with your friends. You can play a wide variety of things. You can have something to eat. There's a full kind of bar area where you can watch sports, and it's just, kind of if you love games, I mean, it's a place where you can hang out and have the best of what's available.
Absolutely. And roughly how many Dave & Buster's locations are there?
There are 61.
Excellent. And on average, how many games and what types of games would you say are in a typical Dave & Buster's?
Typical Dave & Buster's has, I'd say, probably around 200 different games, and they really range the gamut from skee ball to racing games to shooters to games where you can win tickets you can exchange for prizes. We call those redemption games. We have a number of new games that we've just introduced in the past month that are really pretty spectacular. We have a shooter game, a first-person shooter game called Dark Escape 4D that came from Namco, and it's a giant kind of attraction. You climb in, you and a friend, if you want, can go into a very immersive horror first-person shooter where you're going around, with a 3D display in front of you and surround sound and having a great time. We have a motion simulation from Sega called Dream Raiders that allows you to go into different environments and to have different kind of mission-based experiences there. We've got giant-sized arcade versions of a number of really popular mobile games like Temple Run, Cut the Rope, Doodle Jump, again, games where they're not only sort of large and impressive looking, but also give you the opportunity to win tickets that you can exchange for prizes, anything from T-shirts and coffee mugs all the way up to Xboxes and iPads. And so, there's hopefully, between all the different types of games that we have and the large number that we have in each location, you'll find something that you love.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely a wide variety of games. I can recall. I'm in Wisconsin. We have one about 30 miles from here, and a very cool place. And as you said, a wide variety of games. One for everyone. So from what I remember, and from what I kind of researched a little bit, that you guys use a card system versus tokens. Can you kind of explain to us how that system works?
Sure. I mean, one of the things that I remember all too well from my misspent youth in a number of different arcades is how annoying it can be to sort of have to haul around a giant cup full of heavy, metal tokens and, constantly going back to the change dispenser to get more tokens. We modernized it. We use these things called power cards. They're kind of like the prepaid cards that you find at a Starbucks. You go and you put some money on it, however much you want, anywhere from a few dollars up to $100 or more. And you go around and you can play those games by just swiping your card through the reader that's on each machine. And I think it's incredibly easy to use, and in fact we've even made it easier with the introduction of a new mobile app that we have that allows you to recharge your card without ever even leaving the game you're playing.
Yeah, that's definitely a feature that I think I would find very useful instead of, not having to wait in line to go and recharge your card, because that's something that it comes versus, going to the machine and getting more tokens. It turns into recharging your card, but definitely mobile apps sound something that would very, very, very be much useful. So shifting into another note, how often would you say a new Dave & Buster's location opens, and how exactly would a location be selected?
Well, it's at this point we're opening probably about on average one every other month. The last one we opened was in January, so we're making up for it by increasing the pace at the end of towards the end of the year. In fact, next week I'm heading up to Virginia Beach, Virginia to oversee the move-in for our newest location there. Very shortly after that, we're going to New York, where in the same week we're going to open 2 locations, one in Syracuse and one in Albany, and then we're going to continue to open, fairly regularly, throughout the rest of the year. And then as we move into next year, I would expect the pace to actually accelerate. As far as how we determine, where we're going to open, it's a very complex process, but, fortunately we have some extremely skilled people who are looking at tons of information and looking at the right places to go into. We're looking for places that have a lot of people that love to play games. I guess to make it very, very simple, we started 30 years ago in Dallas, Texas, and expanded throughout Texas and then the Midwest. From there, moved into the Southeast and then up the East Coast. But it's really the West Coast that I think is going to see the most growth over the next few years because, quite frankly, we don't have a lot of stores out there. So, we have locations now in Arizona, Colorado, and a number in California, particularly on the outskirts of Los Angeles, Orange County, Ontario, places like that. But over the next couple of years, I think you'll see a lot more stores in the heart of Los Angeles, in the San Francisco Bay Area, potentially even locations like Portland or Seattle, which of course would be a personal favorite of mine, considering that I still have a home in Seattle and try to spend time there whenever possible.